London became the largest city in the world, and its new arrivals often crammed into the most notorious areas. It is here that a murderer became the talk of the town in Victorian England. In these narrow streets in Whitechapel, a gloomy district of East London, 5 prostitutes would be murdered in the dead of night, with unprecedented cruelty. The historian Eric Simon takes us on the trail of this unsolved case.
It's around about here that on the night of the 30th of August 1888, they were to find the body of Jack the Ripper's first victim. She was called Polly Nichols, Red Polly, not because she was a communist, simply because she was a redhead. It's a policeman who finds her at around 2 in the morning. He thinks it's a drunkard sleeping. That usually happened in the back alleys of Whitechapel. But in fact, when he tries to wake her, he gives her a little push and he sees a puddle of blood flowing out.
Yet this first murder goes almost unnoticed. Crime is common in the East End. The area was plunged into abject poverty. The people living here were those left behind by the glorious Industrial Revolution.
It was total chaos. Up to 8 people were living in each room. They didn't even have a bed. People slept on the corner of a table. In the night shelters, if people couldn't afford to pay 4 pennies for a bed, they could have the rope. Do you know what sleeping over the rope is? Well, sleeping over the rope, you lean over a rope and in the morning at 5 a.m, the owner of that destitute shelter pulls the rope, you fall on the floor and you wake up. And there you go. People were at the mercy of disease, of poverty, and this is the fascinating thing, that Jack would act in this East End, the mysterious East End, the East End where nobody even dared to come for a walk on a Saturday or a Sunday. There you go.
As the weeks went on, new victims would be discovered. The horror of the crimes becomes more and more unbearable. We now know that we're dealing with a serial killer, first given the nickname, the Butcher of Whitechapel. Public opinion takes hold of this story.
Queen Victoria, what did she think about all this? Well, firstly, she was interested in Jack, because he was attacking the paupers of the East End. She would tell the Home Secretary, "You absolutely must stop him. I command you. It's an order. You must stop this thug for me."
Substantial resources are deployed, but no trail leads the police to this mysterious murderer. Having no boundaries, the killer goes as far as to provoke the authorities by speaking directly to the press. Eric takes us to the city's archives. An exceptional document that would bring a new twist to the case is preserved here. It is a letter written in red ink. It's from a man who claims to be Jack the Ripper.
It's a very nice letter. Really beautifully written and full of humour. He basically says, "Rest assured, I do not know a policeman smart enough to be able to stop me. In any case, I send you my best wishes, your friend, Jack the Ripper." It is he who comes up with the name Jack the Ripper. It wasn't the journalists at all. It wasn't the press that invented the name. He himself signs off Jack the Ripper. I feel like he is in front of me, Jack. I believe that this letter was really written by that mentally ill criminal genius known as Jack the Ripper.
It was decided to publish this letter in the hope that someone would recognize the suspect's writing. It was to no avail. Consequently, the press would pick up the case, and it made a sensational impact.
The Victorian press would change significantly as a result of the case of Jack the Ripper. The print runs would be extraordinary. People didn't read, but they knew how to look at a page in a newspaper. The page spoke to them. From here on in, what is known as the gutter press in England would develop at an extraordinary speed. The rotary press turned and absolutely everything sold. As soon as they mentioned Jack the Ripper, they were sure to get good sales.
Fear is at its height when the body of Mary Jane Kelly is discovered in this building. She would be the fifth and final victim to be brutally slaughtered. The murders would suddenly stop. The world will never know the identity of Jack the Ripper for sure. Yet one thing is certain, the murders drew attention to this area.
Queen Victoria would demand vast changes in the East End. The dirt would be forgotten, cobblestones would be put down, the streets would be lit. The streets of the East End were not illuminated. Charities would descend on the East End. Queen Victoria said, "That's it. We must absolutely go to the East End and help the people. It is our duty as English citizens and as Christians." And something that is also very interesting is that you have a priest from the church in Whitechapel called Reverend Barnett who would make a quite extraordinary sermon where he would basically say, "Jack, we thank you. Thanks to you, poverty will gradually disappear from the East End of London. Now we know we exist." And there you have it.
Voilà.